Guys, I'm sorry I gotta say it, but Game 6 was just a disgraceful performance by the New York Knicks, man. Absolutely embarrassing. They basically got laughed off the floor. And honestly, throughout this entire series and playoff run, they've had too many holes in their game. And you can finally see it in this series. Shout out to the Pacers for winning. Honestly, they made a great decision a couple years ago when they picked up Pascal Siakam. I always tell y'all, and if y'all forgot, he was the second best player on that championship team in Toronto. I'm honestly surprised more teams didn't throw a better bid for him, because when you have proven winners, that's hard to find in the NBA. People like Pascal, Drew Holiday, so on and so forth, you need to get those players the moment they become available, and you got the opportunity to do so, especially if you're trying to win a championship. But the New York Knicks has so many glaring holes, bro. And the biggest problem with them, they're just too small, dog. They're just way too small. Look like a bunch of little guys out there versus Indiana. Why does Indiana look like a bunch of trees? Don't make any sense. And on top of that, it's just they have no athleticism, or should I say no star-powered athleticism. That's what they need. The New York Knicks need to make a decision in their front office, and they need to go for somebody who's athletic and a star and who can get his own buckets. You can't just allow yourself to be shut down for minutes upon minutes inside of a basketball game. The playoffs are too valuable. Jalen Brunson is little. No disrespect to Jalen, man. He a dog, and honestly, you could just tell he got that New York culture in him. He brings the team great energy, so you keep him. But Karl Towns gotta go. Karl Towns has got to go. I understand the reason why they made the trade. It was a great idea. We already knew about the holes in his game from Minnesota. They're still there, though. He can't really play defense like that. He's awkward as hell. And then it's like on top of that, his athleticism is non-existent. He's not even a guy that you could just basically say, give me a bucket. Give him the ball and give me a bucket. He can't even do that. You can barely put the ball in his hand. He's basically a high-powered role player. He's supposed to be the second best player on this team. He's paid like one. But when you see him in the playoffs, he constantly looks like a role player. Last year included, when they got beat by the damn Mavericks. He's got to go. And if I am the Knicks, I'm looking to trade him for Giannis. This is the offseason to do it, bro. You guys got the assets. Throw everything you can. Get Giannis Antetokounmpo over there. Pair him up with Jalen Brunson, and now you could probably have a team. Honestly, I shouldn't even say probably. You basically guaranteeing yourself a championship. Giannis Antetokounmpo, we already know, is the real deal. Now, we did see him paired up with Dame, and that didn't look right. I do think Jalen Brunson is better than Dame at this point in their career, though. But as long as you can keep assets around them, I would get the job done. This team, Josh Hart, what was it? 4 points, 2 from the free throw line? You guys really just ate ass the entire Game 6. It's disappointing. I'm looking at the Pacers throughout this entire series, keep in mind, and even when they played against the Cavs, it's like they have an advantage because they're so lengthy and they have so much athleticism, especially defensively. Their guards hound you. Jalen Brunson can't even put the damn ball on the floor without getting turnovers. And the sad thing about this New York roster is it just seems like he's the only player who can create a shot for others. He's their only ball handler. Nobody else wanted the ball because they was going to get it stolen. He has to force it up the court. When your team is put in that situation every single play, every single position, you're in bad hands. It's a bad team. It's a bad mix-up. Something has to change. You have to be able to give other people the ball so that they can create offense. We've seen time and time again that that's a recipe for failure inside of the NBA. And this is no exception. We also saw this last year in the playoffs from Jalen Brunson. We also saw it the year before that. But it's not just him. It's basically the entire New York roster. Yeah, you got OG Anunoby, you got Mikal Bridges, you got Josh Hart, so on and so forth. But none of these players can be there when it matters because at the end of the day, they are still just role players. great, lengthy defenders sometimes. But if you got Karl Towns on the court, the defense barely even matters. It's not all him, but Jalen Brunson too. They blown by Brunson, they blown by Towns. 3 people playing defense, they getting tired too easily. New York had good defense this entire series, but they didn't have great defense. The Indiana Pacers had great defense. Some would even say Hall of Fame level. They locked their asses up the entire series, just like they did against the number 1 seeded Cavs. Look, man, then you got clutch shooters in Indiana. Everybody can shoot the 3. If you really looked at every single play basically in this series, if they were open for even 1 second from 3, the ball was going down. When you passed it to the Knicks, there was no faith. It was always 50-50. Is he going to make that 3? Is he going to miss it? And more often they'll miss it. And also keep in mind, game 1 did break them down. Like, there were announcers saying it, but it's just the truth. New York got broken down when they choked away game 1. And when they saw Tyrese Halliburton do that choke signal, that basically destroyed them psychologically. You could tell. But outside of that, this team is just not built to win a championship. It's close. It's up there. They are an elite team. They're just not built to win a championship. I wouldn't even see them winning a championship with this current roster for the next 2 to 3 years. And they still have enough young players. Most of their players, like with OG and them, with about 27. Mikal Bridges, I think, is 27. Karl Towns, 29. Brunson should be like 28. Like, they got a pretty young roster, but I don't see anybody figuring it out. Because at the end of the day, outside of Jalen Brunson, the rest of the team is full of high-level role players. Role players will disappoint you if you don't have anybody to help them get over the hump at any given series. There's only so much they can do. They can make you a big shot, rob, 3-pointer. But if you had just gave the ball to Robert Horry the entire series and said, take us home, you guys would have got blown. The Lakers would have got it blown up by 15. That's not how it works. So I think it's time to let Karl Towns go. He had a great game. I seen what was that, game 4? I think he stepped up. Was it game 5? Game 5? One of those games. He stepped up. It's not enough though, bro. You're supposed to be the star on this team. You're getting paid like $50 million, bro. That's not enough. You're not worth what you're getting paid. On top of that, you're a liability defensively, but you're the biggest guy on the court. You're fucking center. And you're a liability. Absolutely not. Trade that man as soon as you can and get somebody better up in here. Get somebody who's consistent. Get a star. If you can't get one in free agency, get one through a trade. Now, we all know Kevin Durant is available. We all know Giannis is available. Go for both of them. But if it was me personally, you got to have Giannis. It's basically Giannis or nothing because Kevin Durant isn't a leader. Now, Jalen Brunson can most likely be the leader. Try to play that Steph Curry role for Kevin Durant. But at this age, I don't have no faith in Kevin Durant. What I do know is that if you gave him the ball, though, in this series, like Indiana, the way they guarded Jalen Brunson was borderline disrespectful. It was just disrespectful because they knew that the rest of his team wasn't reliable. And when you look at Brunson, he fumbled the ball over and over again. He was getting jumped out there from the half-court line. Getting jumped every single game. And he's trying this dribble low technique that was just stupid. But when you're afraid, when anxiety's high, you're afraid and you realize that you can't, not too many other options are available, you can't give it to anybody else to put the ball on the floor, you make silly decisions like that. Now on top of that, the coach should have came up with a better strategy. But we know what Tom Thibodeau is. No disrespect, just we know what he is. If you gotta take Kevin Durant, I would say so, but you need Giannis on this roster, bro. Or you need to find whoever else is going to be demanding a trade and get somebody who's a high power. And I would even say a big. because their bigs are Mitchell Robinson cool, but it was just disappointing all over, man. Josh Hart, pitiful performance. Pitiful. Now, that's just one game. He showed up throughout the series. That's just one game, but it's the game that mattered the most, man. Absolutely disgraceful performance. What do you guys think about the Knicks? What do you guys think about the Pacers, man? We have a Pacers-Thunders final because I'm pretty sure this game about to be over in a few minutes, so it's going to be a Pacers-Thunder final for sure. I got Oklahoma thrashing the Pacers, but the Pacers, honestly, as big as they are, they're a very elite team, and it should not be disrespected. What do you guys think in the comment section, man? Appreciate you guys watching this video. Let me know, and I'm out of here.